Welcome to day 2. In today's lesson, we'll be exploring our first 2 steps in the 6-step focus system: the big picture and assess. The big picture. Why are you listening to this? What are you hoping for? These questions may seem silly, but take some time to re-listen to them. And again. And again. Why are you listening to this? What are you hoping for? You're listening to this program for a reason. You've stayed focused on this program for a reason. Your reason could be big or small. It could be related to your job or your personal life. It could be random or totally planned. Regardless of your reason or reasons, the vital thing to acknowledge is that you're looking to sharpen up your focus. That is your big picture. It's your why. And it's precisely what you'll use as you proceed through this guide and ultimately through life from here on. Defining your big picture is about knowing what you want. We all start with a big picture, goal, or goals. But when we get caught up in the day-to-day and we let life distract us, that big picture gets painted over by lots of other little pictures. We end up with a collage of small goals, big goals, and goals that contradict one another. It's time to scrap that collage and start with a blank canvas. This canvas needs to illustrate your big picture, your ultimate destination, and it needs to be untouched in order to capture and retain your focus. To define your big picture with focus in the foreground, start with these 3 steps. Step 1. Figure out what you like. What are your interests and preferences? And how do they tie into your big dreams? It may sound obvious, but your dreams really only come from your interests. If you want to be a writer, you aren't going to set goals to learn how to fly a plane, right? Your goals and your interests go hand in hand. If you already know what you like and want, that's great. If not, there are plenty of ways to figure it out. Begin by thinking about who you've been and what you've enjoyed your entire life. Have you always gravitated toward athletics or numbers? Do you like reading books, or do you prefer to be exploring a forest? You can also try taking personality tests. There are plenty of resources out there for you, including the Myers-Briggs personality test or the DISC assessment. Ask friends and family members to define you in their own words. Ask for their input. They may have some ideas of what you're like and that you didn't even think about on your own. Step 2. Ask yourself questions. And they can't be the easy ones. Now that you know what you like and what you're shooting for, you need to understand exactly how determined you are and what you want your end goal to be. Start by asking yourself how you want to leave this world. If you were to leave tomorrow, what would you want people to remember you as? Basically, you want to get to the crux of the type of legacy you'd like to leave behind. This will take time, so grab a pen and paper and get to work. No cheating. Then, try to think of words you'd like to associate yourself with. Do you want to be known for being creative or analytical? Do you view yourself as a problem solver or an emotion-based person? Think about the words that resonate with you most. Again, write them down. List them out. Treat these as tiny pixels of your big picture frame. Step 3. Get a little creative and ambitious. This last step comes off as unrealistic, but it's actually a significant step in the process. When you're cooking up a big picture goal for yourself, you need to start off by being a little far-fetched with your ideas. Remove all limitations and some realities, and say, what do I want to do if the options are limitless? We're taking time and resources and money out of the equation here, because although they're important, we need to get to the core of what you seek. Of course, you may need to alter your plan a bit, and you may not be able to shoot exactly for this far-fetched idea, but it's an excellent way to filter through the possibilities and get to the crux of your goals. Let's say you end up realising that your ultimate goal would be to own a car dealership. That may not happen right away, but this will help steer you, pun intended, in the right direction. Once you have an idea of your big picture, it's time to ask yourself the big questions. What matters to me? You want to whittle down the swirling possibilities and seemingly endless options and pinpoint exactly what matters most to you. It's as if you were to line up several different contenders for your big picture, analyse them, critique them, and decide on one big picture. Easier said than done though. So you may want to come up with a process for this. Begin by listing out all the things that matter to you, irrespective of your big picture goals. Here are a few ideas to help get you started. Professional life, family life, money, job stability, health, fitness, hobbies, arts and creative passions, doing what you love to do every day, location, lifestyle. There are plenty of other deciding factors, but these are some key ones. List out the thing that matters most to you. Once you've listed them out and had a second to think about each of them, try to rank them in order of importance. Eventually narrow it down to 5. This takes us back to the 5-25 rule, a la Warren Buffet, full circle. These 5 themes should be held constant in your mission to finding and retaining focus. Over time they may change, but for now you should hold your big picture goal to these 5 things. That way the big picture that matters most will be based on smaller things that also matter a lot to you. Assess. After some mulling and thoughtful consideration, you came up with your big picture. You may not know how you're getting there, but you know what you want. At this point your focus is already so much better. Rather than sit down and push papers around at work, you're going into work with purpose because you know that there's a big goal waiting for you, depending on your efforts. Anytime you get distracted or derailed from your goals, you can remind yourself of your big picture. That leads us to step 2, assess. We're going to move on from the big picture because we established that and transition to the ins and outs of your focus. Begin by thinking about your current work processes. Think about how you can focus on tasks, how you tackle new assignments, how long you can work on something without getting distracted. Let's start by defining your focus. At this point, you may not know if you're focused or easily distracted. It's hard to tell. But these are some signs that you're a focused individual. You're alert and energised throughout the whole day. You have a spring in your step, and you're not easily derailed from your alertness. You're able to set goals for yourself. You tackle your goals by breaking them into small goals, tackling those and then working your way up to your big goals, aka your big picture. When you need a break, you take one, but you don't need to be on a break for too long. You're able to get back to work and get back on track after breaks. But these are signs that you're not such a focused individual. You often find your mind wandering and drifting to another topic. You daydream often. You pick up your phone and get distracted by it quickly. When someone approaches you and engages you in conversation, you can't seem to get back on track. Or if you do, you find yourself having a hard time with it. You can't keep track of your progress. Either way, it's good news. It's okay if you're easily distracted. That's fixable. And if you already have a rock solid foundation of focus, that's good news too. Assessing your focus is a key part of success. You can always improve your attention, but it's good to get a baseline before you begin to develop it. As you assess your focus, look at it from your own perspective. Assess has a formal ring to it. It sounds more like an exam than a fun and helpful exercise, but it's definitely the latter of those two, so treat it that way. You're not assessing to give yourself a pass or fail grade. Instead, you're looking to improve. 1. Stop and listen. Begin by listening to yourself. Be in tune with your thoughts, goals, ideas, and questions. Throughout the process, you're looking to improve what you've going on for you right now. Listen to that voice in your head. Listen to your body and your mind at all hours of the day, and make a note of things. It helps to have a designated period of assessing so that you can keep track of everything. Look at when you do your work best. Do you exercise best in the morning or at night? Do you prefer to get most of your tedious work out of the way, or do you save it for last? When you're in a deep dive, how long does it take you to accomplish things? These are the types of things you should be listening to. 2. Try something new. The next stage is one of experimentation. Think of listening to yourself as a way to isolate all variables and unknowns. You're able to capture the essence of you, your work ethic, what works for you, and what doesn't. The second part of assessing is when you mix things up and see what works and what doesn't. Now that you know what you like and how you optimize your existing work processes, it's time to figure out new approaches. Let's say you typically stay focused in silence. Mix it up by trying to work with headphones. Take note of how you feel. Did you improve? Was it significantly worse? Try it out with time management. If you usually use simple lists, try a project management tool or a more elaborate list structure. Again, test it out and observe how it impacts your overall focus and work capabilities. Now, it's important to make sure you don't just aimlessly try anything and everything. You should only be trying some things that you genuinely believe will have a positive impact on your focus habits. Take some time beforehand to decide what these something new items will be. 3. Learn from your failures. In fact, let's not even call it a failure. Learn from these lessons. If you don't succeed with a particular approach, there's no need to fret about it or beat yourself up. Chalk it up to a no-go and apply that to lessons down the road. As you continue to complete this course, remind yourself not to get overwhelmed. There are lots of suggestions here, and for that reason you may lose focus just by listening. Don't let that happen though. Take each tip I'm giving you as a possible solution, a potential step to successful concentration, and only focus on the ones that really work for you. If a step doesn't work for you, that's perfectly fine. Move past it and make a note of it, that it's not for you. Now let's take some time to begin implementing these steps into your life. Please proceed to exercise 2.